Hello everybody, Derick Van Ness here, wealth strategist, investor, and life adventurer. I've got some tips for you today, and I just want to tell you that if you do it right, short-term rentals can literally be the best cash flow machine that you can have in real estate, and if you do it wrong, they can absolutely be your worst nightmare. So, I'm going to tell you some tips on how to make sure you're as profitable as possible. And by the end of this video, you're going to know some of the key things that even a lot of people who have done Airbnbs don't know on how to make these things, and like just the ROIs will just shoot through the ceiling, right? So let's get started right now with a couple of key tips. So the first thing is, when you're looking at an Airbnb, a key point is you don't actually have to own the property to be able to do short-term rentals, Airbnb, VRBO, or whatever other service that you might want to do. Okay, so first tip is, on your first one, don't buy the property. Here's what I mean by that. You can actually go and lease a property, just like you would rent a property, with a right to sublet it. And if you do that and you disclose to the landlord what's going on, your cost to get into an Airbnb is like this big, or a short-term rental is like this big, right? And so what we want to do, and there's restrictions and different people who will and won't, I would not advise that you go out and go rogue and do this in a high-rise building where they don't allow it or something, because if they find out, you're in big trouble, or if your landlord doesn't know. Don't make that mistake. That is how you get stuck with a big fat lease and no income. Don't do that. But what you can do is you can rent them, and a lot of times with 1 month deposit or 2 months deposit at most, just by paying the rent, you're into a property. And from there you can furnish it and start renting it out. And what that really allows you to do is minimize your upfront investment, get started right away, and you minimize, if there's major repairs or something happens with the property, it's not your property, it's going to be on the landlord. So you're really protecting your downside. And my tip number 2 is, I would do this on a couple of properties before you go and buy your own. And here's why. Once you understand how the cash flow works within a short-term rental, you can make good cash flow and buying projections on your next property. Every property is a little bit different, and every area is a little bit different. I had a handful of these in San Diego, and each of them was different. One was right on the beach, one was in kind of a questionable area, and one was in a really cool hip area that was inland in San Diego. All 3 of them were different, but they gave me a really good idea of what works and what doesn't, and how to market it, right? So that's number 2 is, I would get at least 2 of these under rental. Try them out, get to know what the cash flow is like and all of that before you go and sink a huge amount of money into a down payment or a property. Short term, it's way better. Long term, owning the property can have some real advantages, but when it comes to building wealth, I prefer to keep the risk low. Listen, short-term rentals are going to be around for a really, really long time. So figuring it out and taking the time to be safe about building them early on is probably a good idea, because if you don't and you buy a property and it sucks, that could just destroy your whole nest egg. I'd rather that not happen to you. Oh yeah, and before I forget, if you're enjoying this content, please click the like button or the subscribe button. It really makes a difference for us in getting this video out to more people and helping more people be successful. We love your support. It makes all the difference in the world. And now back to the content. Okay, the third tip, and this is something that I think so many people get wrong, is you need to have the right title for your listing. When you put your property up, you want to make sure that it says what people are searching for. Sure, you want to put 123 Main Street house, or or something. What you want to think about is, what are the descriptive words that people are going to be looking for, and something that makes it sound appealing to the type of person that wants to stay there. Here's what I mean. If you've got a 4-bedroom house that you're Airbnb-ing, it's going to be families. It's not going to be little singles, right? Or a getaway weekend kind of thing. If you've got a 1-bedroom or a studio apartment, it's not going to be big families. It's going to be couples and singles and that kind of thing. So you want to appeal to those kinds of people, right? Families aren't necessarily looking for cool neighborhoods. So even if it's in a cool neighborhood, maybe that's not what you want to do. You might want to put family-friendly 4-bedroom, or 4-bedroom perfect for families, right? Because people are going to be searching for perfect for family or family friendly. They're not going to be searching for cool neighborhood, even if they want to stay in a cool neighborhood, right? So your title of of your Airbnb listing is literally your search engine optimization. Those are the keywords that are going to get you pulled up. And so you want to be able to be sure to do that. If you mess that up, I would test for a couple of weeks, test one, test another, test a few headlines, so to speak, or titles for your listing. It can make a really, really massive difference. And the fourth tip that I've got for you today is this. If you're going to buy something, rent it out, and then re-rent it, like I talked about in tip number 1, then what you want to do is your break-even point that I would use for your rentals is somewhere in the 19 to 21 days. If you can break even in 19 to 21 days, you've totally got a winner. And then those other 8, 9, 10 days can be a profit for you. So use that ratio. If you can't break even, if it's going to take 27, 28 days or 25 days out of the month being rented for you to break even, I would not do it. If you can do it, like I said, 19, 20, 21 days, then you're right in the ballpark. Obviously, if you can break even in 15 days, 16 days, 9 days, whatever, or just on the weekends, total home run, right? So that's a ratio that you can take that has worked for us and has made them very profitable. So yeah, those are 4 tips that are going to really help you with building a short-term rental property portfolio. It's how to get started. It's how to make the most of it. If you know anybody else who's doing short-term rentals and wants more tips, likes real estate, wants to learn about wealth strategy, that's what we do. My name is Derick Van Ness. If you like this content, please subscribe, pass this on to your friends, hit the like button. It really helps us a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, my name is Derick Van Ness. Thank you for stopping by. We'll see you on the next video.